She's well past the age of retirement and she's still working.
Imagine getting to 67 and realizing you still can't afford to retire.
We did everything right. We worked hard, we paid our bills, we raised our children the right way. So can somebody explain why in my 50s, my husband and I, we're living paycheck to paycheck?
To everyone out there who's Gen Z millennials, did you ever think that at one point, right, when you're about to be at the age of retirement, that you just can't retire? You don't have enough savings, you didn't plan right, maybe the economy's not good. Let's get to this video where we're going to see different perspectives on people who are almost there or are already there and cannot stop and they have to keep on working. Let's get right to it, guys.
I don't think I can ever retire. I really don't. I don't think it's possible to retire anymore because the amount of money you need to retire is going to keep going up as you get older because inflation and everything else is going to cost way more in the future. So right now, if you're like, oh, $1 million and I can retire, probably not. I mean, you could probably be okay for a few years. But then once inflation and everything else kicks in, you're going to start paying way more for the things that you need to live on a daily basis. So people are just going to keep working. I mean, that's why you always see people continue to work even past 65. It's because they can't retire. And most people can't retire. Most people. That's scary. Like, we shouldn't have to work our entire lives and never enjoy any semblance of freedom. Is retirement just a dream? I don't think most people can retire. I really don't.
I think a big issue is that people do get comfortable in their careers, in their jobs, and the time goes by, right? Okay, look at how fast a year goes by. 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, right? And if you're staying at the same job, you're making about the same, there hasn't been a huge increase, right, in your salary throughout the years, then at some point when you get close to that age of retirement, you're not going to have enough money to live out the rest of your time, right, alive, being able to do all the things that you want to do, right, since you were a kid. Travel the world and see different places, experience new cultures, that kind of thing. And that's what retirement is for most people out there, I think, right? So that's one of those things that I think I'm seeing a lot with people around my age, even people who are much younger than me, who are planning to retire early. There's that FIRE movement where you're trying to save as much as you can, invest it, into index funds and that kind of thing to get to that point at a quicker time, right? Make it faster, cut that time in half, right? Or, cut that time down a bit so that you could still enjoy it while you're young enough. But to those who didn't think that way, right, who are already on the verge of hitting that retirement age, they are the ones that suffer for it, right? And they end up not being able to work as hard as they did when they had that youthfulness still, right? When you're in your 20s, 30s, you can still work and really bust your ass to try to make money. And once you get to that, older age, you can't do as much, right? And a lot of companies, sad to say, but a lot of companies prefer to hire younger people than they do older people. So there is a little bit of ageism when it comes to hiring as well too. So that does play a part as well.
She's well past the age of retirement and she's still working.
Di, this is what you should be doing.
Yes.
Sitting outside having a cup of tea,
Yes.
enjoying your retirement.
I'm having my cup of tea.
But there's no stopping Di.
Hello, girls. Hi.
Today is Di's first day back on the job after shoulder surgery kept her on the sidelines for 6 weeks. She's missed it. And they've missed her.
Welcome back, Di. Thank you. So good to have you back.
But
This is so wholesome. She's like a beautiful grandma, like a really nice, very kind person. And she should not be having to work at that age, right? She should be relaxing and living off of her savings, right? It's really sad. It's really, I actually feel really sad looking at her because I could see her being a grandmother, a family member, and seeing her still work like that, even with all of the surgeries that she's had. I don't like it. Any one of you guys watching this probably think that as well too, right?
she's also missed her income.
Is there lots of work?
And that's what keeps her coming back to her computer as she edges closer to her 80th birthday.
Why haven't you retired yet,
Birthday.
Di?
Wow.
Because I can't afford to. I mean, my wages are
$1,100 a fortnight. That's what I take home. I get 700 odd part pension from Centrelink, but my rent's cut. That wipes out my rent. So I'm really living on the 1,100.
After paying for health insurance, car insurance, groceries and power bills, there's not much left.
I always say that I'd like to work because I want to, not because I have to.
You know what's crazy when you think about it? How many people out there, right? Americans, people in the West are living paycheck to paycheck. Now, when you're younger, right, it's more acceptable. But, 20s, even 30s, right? Even that's pushing it when you're living paycheck to paycheck. But when you hit your 40s, your 50s, and you're still living that way, once you hit that age, right, that retirement age, where's the money? Where are the savings? Where are the investments, right? That is where a lot of these people who are living that way now, if you are in that situation, do your best to get out of it. That's all I have to say. Because at some point, you are going to get older and you can't keep living that way. Because if you do, you're going to end up out on your ass, right? If you don't work, right? And she's 80 almost, so she's still working, It's really sad to see, but it's happening.
I'm Gen X, and I realized a long time ago that there was going to be no retirement for me. So what I did was sold all the things that I had, cashed in my retirement, and purchased some land out here in Tennessee to live on. And now what I have to do is pay for permission to live on this land, buy permits, and I also have to pay taxes every year, whatever amount they decide, forever, in this land of the free. You can never escape the system that they've built for us. There's no end to it. It goes on forever.
No matter if you own a house outright, you still have to pay taxes, right? And that's where it eats away at you. And I get what he's talking about. He tried to go off the grid kind of thing, and still, right, he still has to live by the system.
Until you die. This system where we're constantly paying a tithe to the government in hopes that they will do the right thing at some point. Ever.
20-year-olds don't know, but they will know around the age of 60. I'm about to drop some serious knowledge. You guys need to really be listening to this, because this could change your whole outlook on what you're trying to do with your life. Now, I did a video about ageism in the workforce for people, especially in their 60s.
I just touched on that, and I've heard it myself as well too from other people that I've met who are older people, and they say that they find it hard to find work. And I know in other countries as well too. I saw a video, I believe in China, where they're really strict about age as well too. At a certain age, they just kind of discriminate, I guess, right? And they prefer people, I think, under 40, if I'm not mistaken. Let's keep going.
And many young people on here are saying, oh, they're not hiring them because they're going to retire soon. Saddest fucking thing, guys. Many of them can't retire. A lot of them are going to be collecting Social Security. Social Security, look up what the average for Social Security is. Here, I'll help you. It's between this number and this number is the average for Social Security. Can you live off that much a month?
Hell no.
And if you can, congratulations, you are less than 1%ers. This is not going to even cover most people's rent. Don't forget.
Not to mention when you get older, medication, all the, accidents and bumps and things that happen along the way as well too, which obviously factors in. So that's not sufficient at all, actually.
Food, medication, anything. And there could be a good chance by the time that you're 60 that not even this is available for you. I know people who are extremely sick going into work after surgeries because they need to work just to have medical.
Like we just saw with that sweet older lady in the previous video, right? She's almost 80, went back to work. That is super shocking.
Require a certain kind of medical insurance for their particular medications. So health is everything too. So even though a lot of 60-year-olds are capable, sure, they would love to retire. Some love to work, but many are stuck in the cycle. They have to work till their last dying breath because this is not enough to live off.
I think everyone still wants to work. Even when they do retire, they want to do things that they find interesting, right? Try out hobbies that they never had a chance to throughout their career, you know, kids and family, if they did choose that path, of course. So all these things factor into it. And yes, I think there are people that do want to retire, just sit, you know, and just be by the beach and just kind of, you know, read or whatever they want to do, right, at that age. But there's also the other people that I've met who are that age and they still want to do things. They still want to try, you know, create businesses or whatever, but things that they want to do, not, you know, leave that career that they've been in for 30 plus years, right?
In the US. Hard reality.
Gen Z thinks that boomers and older Gen X need to move out. They need to retire because they're taking all the good jobs. And while I don't think it's on...
I just scorched my tongue. This tea is scorching hot.
Anybody to give their job away, Gen Z kind of has a point here. See, people are working longer, and we know that. I mean, 20-something% of retirement age people are still working full-time. That's an actual statistic.
Wow.
And what that does is it's creating a bottleneck at the top of organizations because most of these older corporate workers are in senior to executive level leadership roles. And if they're still hanging on because they don't want to retire, or maybe financially they can't retire, then those jobs don't open up, which means your millennials don't move up into the senior and executive positions, and that doesn't create open positions for entry-level people to move up. Entry-level people stay where they're at, and ultimately, the job market, the corporate hierarchy is frozen because the people at the top aren't leaving.
And now with the introduction of AI as well too, I could speak for the, you know, software development field. A lot of entry-level positions are actually being taken by senior developers. And that's almost non-existent for someone who is just leaving out of university, getting out of a boot camp, self-taught, whatever. So that's just an example as well too, right? You'll find people who are much more experienced taking on roles that they really shouldn't be, right? That are for entry-level people.
And that's a rough thing to get your head around. And like I said, I'm not saying people need to abandon their jobs and give them away. I'm just saying when Gen X or when Gen Z says there are no jobs because the older workers won't step to the side, they're not completely wrong.
How do it make you feel knowing that for the last 25 or 30 years that you actually paid into Social Security just to find out the last 10 years before you actually retire and you're able to draw your pension, retirement, or Social Security, they hit you with you can't retire until you're another 10 years older. For instance, it goes from 62 to age 72. And that's what's going on right now. A lot of people who worked their whole entire life thought that they were going to be retiring next year at the age of 62. And they found out that they can't retire until they're 72. How many of you got?
That is pretty crazy. I mean, there are people who do want to retire at 62 or 65, and there's others that don't mind, you know, working until they're 70 plus. So everyone's different. I can't speak for that, but just from what I've seen, right, what I've experienced, people that I've met, that kind of thing.
I know someone who's actually made it to 72 years old. Come on, man. They know people don't live that long. Some people live that long, some people don't.
That is true. That is true. Some people don't make it make it 70 plus, even 65 plus.
That means they know that they don't have to pay that money. Now, if you guys don't know what Social Security is, for those of you who work a regular job every single day, the next time that you get your check stub, pay close attention to the notations on your check stub. You will see Social Security on there. They take out $35, $40 a week, depends on how you get paid every week, every other week. That money that they take out, that's not free money. That money is building into your Social Security. It's separate from your 401k, your medical plans. That's your Social Security. It means if you were to get hurt midway through your work career and you were to say like sustain a bad injury at work, you would be able to start drawing because you actually paid into Social Security. But if you don't never get injured and you work that 30 to 40 years at that job, whatever they require, how many years on the job? 30 years, I think, 35 years. Means if you don't get hurt, you don't have to draw early. That means you're eligible for all that money after you retire for the rest of your life, which would be like in monthly installments. But now that the game is changing. They're making it to where you can't retire until you're almost 72 years old.
Guys, that's all for this video. What do you guys think about this? Do you think that this is happening to people that you know, who, you know, your family members, people that you work with, who are at that age of retirement, but they can't do it because financially they're just not there? Anyways, guys, that's it for this video. Subscribe, like, and comment. I'll catch you in the next one. Bye for now.